Good evening, everyone. So, here's a topic for you. We're going to discuss on electricity, energy, and how this all correlates between the Matrix, the Mandela effect, and Stargate and time travel or soul travel. There's a difference, and here's what's I'm trying to theorize between soul travel and dimensional travel in relation to us trying to incorporate it using particle acceleration and other things, and us just doing it when we die or do astral projection. Now, what's interesting is when they do particle acceleration, they don't use regular atoms, they used ionized atoms. And what happens is an atom is just neutral in its electrical charge. We have an electrical charge. Our brain produces 12.1 volts of electricity, enough to power a light bulb. But remember that our nervous system could attach to our brain and its communication center. We produce electrical pulses called electroplastic connectivity of the nervous system that allows for that. So your electricity system or electrical wires that run you are your nerves. Your joints help keep everything in place to move accordingly, basically like a rubber band or a retractable thing or a spring, but holds a lot more valuability in how limber you are and how your agility is. Muscle, that goes without saying. Strength. Incorporating all these things fundamentally in our mind, you have to remember that electroplasticity, we are affected by radio waves and electromagnetic waves because we are electric salt batteries, because we're 80% water and we need electrolytes, which is sodium based, which allows us to produce these electrical charges. So basically, without electrolytes, your nervous system fails because it's not able to generate the electricity because it doesn't have the salt base electrolytes mixed with the water base for what else? Conductivity. Why is it conductive? Because it's a messenger, and water is a messenger. And it's been shown that water has memory in recent videos seen on TikTok, where people will take a glass basin, pour water in there, and lay it over top of words. And after laying there for a day or two, they would put it in the freezer, and the words would freeze into the ice without ever touching it, without chemicals or anything. It's because water is a messenger and a carrier, and that's how its purpose is. But it's also conscious, and it's conscious in the way of energy, just like we are with soul and frequency. It's hard, though, for us as human beings to figure out and determine the detachment and separation between the energy of soul and the energy of electrical output, whether it be however that frequency works. And that's what I'm really curious about and studying right now and trying to learn from other people, because I'm trying to figure out the correlation here. And the one thing I've come to realize is that, in similarity with the Mandela effect, or with everyone remembering one thing but others remembering this, that has to do with the collective consciousness theory that does exist, that we are all vibrating or emanating at a certain frequency. All of us have similar frequencies, but all of us also have different frequencies. Now, the ones who have similar are going to have the same similar memory from their past in that plane or reality, because that reality or plane is constantly shifting or glitching. It's just we don't see it with our physical body or vision. It happens indirectly, which is why deja vu happens. It's a side effect of the Mandela effect that's being incorporated through electrical and radioactive interferences. That's just partial, but that is the majority of what causes this Mandela effect to take place. The second part is just government programming by having corporations and organizations and the media do smoke and mirror effects with us to make us see one thing and then see another thing, and constantly changing our visual comfortability. So that way we can't even trust ourselves and our own judgments. But the truth of the matter is, with a lot of us remembering and a lot of us not remembering the same thing, that's because we all have different levels there. So that goes to the point with Stargate. Stargate is real. We just have not perfected it yet. That's why Elon Musk has to get all these AI robots completed so we can send the robots through Stargate, because their electrical bodies can handle the atom and particle differentiation and change up in there. Our body is too fixated to this dimension and to this earth, so it just rips us to shreds and incinerates us or vaporizes us the moment we go through Stargate. Now our soul can travel through Stargate, and that allows us to travel faster, but what's the point if our physical body can't do the work on where we need to go? And we don't know how to manipulate or control soul in that realm, because it's a whole new realm for us. But we do know that we can, how we can pinpoint to open these different portals known as Stargate, by doing a mirroring frequency exchange, which is when basically how the Egyptians will levitate. You put this frequency of vibrations and this frequency toward each other, it allows it to lift. Similar context, works the same fundamental way for Stargate, to where if we can tune this gate to the same tuning as that gate, it'll open the portal to the gate we set up there. You have to set up another gate somewhere else in order to open that portal, but I don't know if we've gotten over that imperfection yet. I'm pretty sure we have. It's been well over 20 years. And Stargate has already been put into a disclosed status since 1996, when it was brought up in a CIA questioning to public news and general information, along with the direct energy lasers that was later used for 9/11, or implemented for 9/11. So the energy conversion is what's interesting, because that's how people would be able to levitate, or how people can walk on water or float in air. People who have divine powers, it's not that they have divine powers, they just know how to utilize the gift that is limited to us here. They manage to bypass the limitations of the physical body to allow soul and energy to actually speak through them. A lot of it has to do with how they channel their electromagnetic energy, and it takes years to perfect that. Why? Because limitations. Why do you think monks and Buddhists, mainly of, the divine practice and ministries, go high in the mountains? Because they're away from chemical and electro and radioactive interferences, which stop you from gaining that capability. Now, once you gain that capability by separating yourself from the interferences that were put in place here, doing that enough times will allow you, as you travel later in life from the temple in the mountains all the way into society, that you can still, over the radio waves, over the electromagnetic waves, over the distractions and over the illusions, focus everything within yourself to channel it and still make it visible, and still make it overpower the energy fields around you that are invisible but hurting you. They've perfected it. We don't perfect it because we're not allowed to know about that stuff or accept that stuff or be given that stuff as factual, because it would cause so much of a dismissal and an uproar to the power hold against us that oversees us, for the higher throne or the higher power or the big brother or whatever you want to call them. But truth in the matter is, we need to start utilizing frequency, electricity, and energy to healing over holistics and pharmaceuticals, considering that they're using frequency weapons towards us and have been using it for a long time, but getting too out of control with it. There needs to be a reform of higher intellects that can step aside outside of government and start utilizing this to our benefit. I feel it might be too late, but at the end of the day, knowing is half the battle. You can't change the world, but you can change your reality. You could change your environment. They're doing it out of fucking laugh, shits, and giggles as a test and using us as test rats. But at the same token, when we know the truth, that gives us more room to know how to handle things and how to go forward. I want to take this into a deeper, more constructive context later in time, but right now I hope I was able to touch on a great enough point.